I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're diving into a terrific book. It is called Dust Bodies. It is an electrifying sci-fi adventure packed with danger, obsession, and redemption. It's written by a terrific author. His name is William Rayner, and he brings us a tale of teenage misadventures, graveyards, and a mysterious dust body that will leave you questioning reality itself. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. William, great to see you here today on Spotlight. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you on the show. This is such a unique and imaginative book. How did you come up with the idea?
I was driving by a graveyard actually, and I came up with the idea. I just was thinking there's so many time travel movies, and I wanted to do something different,
Mhm.
something other than that. So that's how it came to me. I just thought, what if some ghosts started walking out from the graveyard and you hit them with your car and you disintegrated, and but then I went from there. So then it kind of wrote itself
Very cool.
after
And
that.
it took on a life of itself, if
Right.
you will. So these dust bodies are basically ghosts from the grave that are basically comprised of dust. Tell us a little bit about the concept.
The concept was they their life was cut short, due to an accident or something, and
Mhm.
exactly 100 years from that date, they were able to rise up and go for a walk, apparently, and try to find someone that could help them, change the past.
Yeah.
So no matter how hard I tried to get away from the time travel, it ended up in there at the end.
Yeah.
But it was more, he was in a certain place at a certain time, and, to save the girl from
Mhm.
these stray bullets. And
Yeah.
these gangsters were driving by,
Yeah.
having
Let's
a
give the
shootout.
Yeah, there's
So
a lot of great action.
there's a lot
Let's
of
give the
stuff.
folks at home an overview of the story. Tell them a little bit of what Dust Bodies is all about.
It's about kind of like my life, I think, is because I turn into the main character when I write.
Mhm.
And there's constant conflicts, especially, when you're a teenager, everybody goes through. And I just always thought that I went through like a lot more than anybody else.
Mhm.
So that's what I feed into my character, that everywhere he goes and everything he does, he runs into a lot of struggles,
Yeah.
and he keeps, and then he gets obsessed with things. I just threw that in there a little bit, like he was obsessed with gambling, and then racing his motorcycle, street racing, playing chess, but he never got any better. And so his friend gives him a hard time about everything, but he's still his best friend. And then when he does crash his motorcycle, he ends up in the hospital, and his best friend just happens to be working there as a male nurse, and then yes, it ends up taking care of him. But then he wakes up from his coma. He doesn't know any of that, and the world has changed the
Mhm.
couple of years that he was in the coma, and so he has to deal with that, and he can't really deal with that because everybody else has been awake, and they were able to accept all these strange goings ons, and and he has a hard time accepting it, and yeah. And so his friend warns him, that, you're not supposed to go near these dust bodies. You're not supposed to talk to them or anything because it messes people up and they end up medically in trouble or something. But he doesn't take his friend's advice, of course, because he gets obsessed right away. He knew he has to go talk to one of them. And so then he does. And that's when the trouble starts.
Exactly.
And
And then the adventures begin. Have you envisioned this as a movie, perhaps, or a TV series? Tell us a little bit about your vision for the book.
I mean, it would make a good short movie, I think, yeah, because it's got everything in it, motorcycles and graveyards, and it's even got heartbreak in there and a little bit of everything. I did crash my motorcycle when I was in my teens and almost went into a coma.
I was going to say, lucky you survived that.
So I'm using actual life events when I write.
Yeah.
I tend to do that a lot. So
Yeah.
it really helps because then your feelings at the time and you can write everything down in detail. Yeah.
Absolutely. You borrow a little bit from here, you embellish a little bit there, but it's all based on your real experience. And it makes
Yeah.
it real to the viewer and makes it much easier to write, of course. You
Mm-hmm.
mentioned Artbook plays a part in the story as well. Tell us about that aspect of the story.
The art book.
Heartbreak?
Oh, the heartbreak.
Yeah.
Oh, that was just quick. And he went with his friend on the motorcycle because his car had broke down. So he picked up his buddy. They went to the beach, and sure enough, his old girlfriend was there.
That's
So,
always trouble.
yeah, he had
Always
to.
trouble.
Yeah, so that just really threw him for a loop, and he had to say hi to her, and then of course she leaves with some guy with a really nice car pulls up, and, and so
Sometimes happens too.
yeah, he just wanted to go out in the middle of the lake and sink to the bottom. So
Right.
that's what I wrote.
Great. It's a great story. It's a great story. Is this your first time writing
It's
a book?
really no. I started with my memoirs like
Mhm.
about 30 years ago on my lunch break,
Cool.
and then I stacked up notebooks for like 20 some years, and then I thought I got to do something with all this, so I started typing it all in, and then that's quite a process.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I was
Exactly.
able to edit as I typed it in, so it took hours and hours every day for like almost a year.
Hmm.
That was my memoirs. And
Yeah.
then I did another memoirs. The first one called It Was a Beautiful October Day, because my dad always said that.
Hmm.
I got a quote from him.
That's nice.
Yeah, so that worked out.
Yeah. And
And
I
then,
don't think there's anything nicer than a beautiful October day. So the title
right.
says a lot. Yep. Yeah.
So then I'm going to continue. I did write two more books, memoirs,
Hmm.
and I thought I'd just go with another month, did August, and then I did It Was a Beautiful June Day. But then I thought I'd try a sci-fi,
Yeah.
and that's when I wrote the Dust Bodies, and I just took off for me. I didn't know if I could even write a sci-fi because I was used to just writing memoirs,
Hmm.
because I had all these stories from my childhood and then junior high and then senior high. And for some reason, I can remember all the details, and I'm able to just put it into words. And then when I go back and read it, I think, wow, this is really great. I mean, I can't believe I wrote it, really. So it's kind of a gift.
Yeah.
And I have to keep going with it, you know.
Do you think
So
you're going to write a sequel?
yeah, I have. I've written three other sci-fis since then,
Awesome.
but I haven't published them yet. I'm
Are
just
they
happy.
continuations of the same story?
No, just completely different. Yeah. One's about this kind of these, it's usually the teenage type guy with his
Misadventure.
best friend. Yeah.
Okay.
and
Yeah.
his, the one, his best friend actually dies in the car. So then, but it was because they went to see this witch,
Mm,
this medium to get a reading or something, and she was messing around with the tarot cards and she cheated on him
mm,
because there's a story behind all that because his mom ended up going to see her once,
mm,
and so he blamed the medium for his mom's death,
mm.
and so yeah, it gets pretty in depth.
Yep.
So that ended up, that's an amazing story,
Yeah.
and, and I
Well,
can't
that's
wait.
wonderful. It sounds like you've got some great imaginative stories that you're developing right now. This book, folks, is wonderful. It's called Dust Bodies. It is an electrifying sci-fi adventure packed with danger, obsession, and redemption. The author brings us a tale of teenage misadventures, graveyards, and a mysterious dust body that will leave you questioning reality itself. Get ready once you open the pages of this book for motorcycles, thunderstorms, heartbreak, and a
Yeah.
fate so relentless it's been likened to a great white shark. Highly
Oh,
recommended. William, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
yeah, thanks for having me. It's been great. Yeah.
I enjoyed speaking with you. Appreciate your time and your insights. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.
Thank you.